My question is, as president, what would you do to ensure not another Palestinian dies due to bombs being funded by U.S. tax dollars?
So I will say, and I think this is to your point, far too many innocent Palestinian civilians have been killed. It's unconscionable. And we are now at a place where with Sinwar's death, I do believe we have an opportunity to end this war, bring the hostages home, bring relief to the Palestinian people, and work toward a two-state solution where Israel and the Palestinians in equal measure have security, where the Palestinian people have dignity, self-determination, and the safety that they so rightly deserve.
What do you say to voters who are thinking about supporting a third-party candidate or staying on the couch, not voting at all because of this issue?
Listen, I am not going to deny the strong feelings that people have. I don't know that anyone who has seen the images who would not have strong feelings about what has happened, much less those who have relatives who have died and been killed.
I spoke to a group of black men at Kenny's Barbershop in West Philadelphia about the issue that might decide this election: gender.
Obama made remarks on the campaign trail. He was at a stop, I think at Pittsburgh, right? And he said, I think there's some brothers out there who are on the fence and they're saying it's because of this or that, but I think, I'm paraphrasing here, but it's because they have a problem electing a woman as president. And I just wonder for anybody who heard that, like what they thought of that.
I was deeply offended. I was deeply offended. And it felt like a moment where it's like, you N-words better get in line and do what we say. And it felt like him as the czar of the Democratic Party coming down to say, go get these N-words in line. And the general tone of it was disgusting. It was abhorrent. I don't respect it. I didn't like nothing about it. And Kamala, 2 days after that, is like, we love our black men. We have programs and things that we're rolling out for them, and she rolled out policy.
Good cop, bad cop. You know, because
I'm tired of the good cop, bad cop. I'm tired of it.
Black men have to be there for black women in the same way that black women have always been there for us as single parents, all that and more. And what he was ultimately trying to say is, like, by not voting for Kamala Harris over basically somebody as a clown, it's almost like as a general disrespect.
But she's not the only person on the ballot.
Women are discriminated against.
What's your name, Miss Rance? What's your first name? Jay. Jay, okay. Are you a trainee? Where are the cameras? Where are the cameras before? They weren't always on.
The camera is off.
You don't have to hold me out. I'll go myself. Jason. Oh, Jason. You want him back there?
I think he put the other guy back.
You want him back there with him? Walk up, you just lean back against the car right there. Another unit transport, you coming here? I'm sorry, sir, I can't hear you. You mean lean forward or lean back? You lean backward. If I lean backward, I'll be sir? If I lean backward, I'll be you know better than wall situation. Make sure your camera and microphone on at all times. All right. Yes, sir. No, you're fine. I'm Officer Sanders, sir. Just for training purposes, I'm going to let my officer let you come for me, sir.
Who once traveled by private jet to all those mansions is now in a jail that is notorious for its bad living conditions.
Part of it.
The meals are supposed to be nutritionally balanced and edible. He would receive 3 meals per day. Very basic meal expectation.
You have your bed with a 1.5-inch mattress, no pillow, and you also have a locker. So you basically have 3 feet by 5 feet to move around. So you have a basic 15 square feet. It is a horrible, horrible place.
So, Diddy's been crying to the judge about how awful jail is. And it looks like he's finally getting a taste of the consequences many have been hoping for. After years of living in luxury, he's now dealing with a whole new reality behind bars.
Jail is terrible for anybody, but for someone who's used to having people wait on them hand and foot and never stands in line and always, gets front row and gets the best table and gets to have the exact opposite. What a life-changing moment.
Imagine this. One of the biggest names in hip-hop who spent decades living the high life is now stuck in one of New York's toughest detention centers. Yep, we're talking about Diddy, famous for his success, fame, and over-the-top lifestyle, now locked up at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn.
How bad is it inside this federal lockup? There have been 2 murders, 4 suicides, and numerous stabbings and lockdowns in recent years. It's so out of control inside that 4 federal judges are reportedly refusing to send any more prisoners here.
Gone are the private jets and fancy mansions. Now he's dealing with moldy showers, cockroaches, and the constant threat of brutality. For someone who's been hanging out with A-listers, this is one serious fall from grace. This place isn't just any jail, it's a nightmare. It's been hit with lawsuits and investigations over how terrible the conditions are. For Diddy, it's a world that's turned completely upside down. He's gone from silk sheets to a lumpy mattress, and his fame might actually make things worse there, with dangerous inmates eyeing him as a target. And no, we're not feeling sorry for him. Things are just getting started, and there's a lot more coming to light, so let's get into it.
But the conditions of the prison are far from homey, notoriously described as, quote, dreadful, as one judge put it. Some on the bench have even moved away from sending nonviolent defendants there. In April...
As we all know, Diddy is at the mercy of prison life, the guards, the other inmates, and the harsh daily routines. Word is he's being kept in isolation for his own safety. But that comes with its own problems. He's completely cut off from the world, with limited contact beyond the few moments he gets to talk to his legal team or family. He's basically locked in a box, left alone with his thoughts. And you can imagine what's going through his mind: regret, fear, anger, and who knows what else. According to his attorney, the MDC is far worse than just missing a few luxuries. The place has been notorious for inhumane treatment. Inmates have long complained about moldy showers, freezing cold cells in the winter, and unbearable heat in the summer. It's like being trapped in a never-ending nightmare. Sure, Diddy might be a superstar on the outside, but there, none of that matters. He's just another inmate trying to survive in an environment where brutality could break out over something as small as a spot in line for the phone or a seat at mealtime. Former inmates describe living in constant fear, not knowing when the next fight or dangerous brawl might kick off. And for someone like Diddy, who's already a high-profile target, it's even more dangerous. According to reliable sources, he's in the special housing unit, which means 24-hour lockdown. Every movement is controlled and coordinated, and no one leaves their cell without full restraints, leg irons, handcuffs, belly chains, and at least 2 or 3 guards. And if you think the guards are keeping order, think again. Reports of misconduct and corruption at the facility are rampant, with claims of guards turning a blind eye to fights, smuggling and contraband, and even stirring up conflicts between prisoners. It's a place where survival depends on alliances and favors, and being a celebrity just makes you a bigger target. The public reaction? Shockingly, it's been split. While many thought people would be satisfied with Diddy finally facing consequences, some are genuinely concerned for his safety. On the other hand, others are saying this is karma catching up with him. Social media is buzzing with mixed takes. Some people are shouting, "He deserves this," while others are reminding everyone that despite everything, Diddy is facing some serious, real-life challenges. It's almost as if people are watching a live drama, forgetting, or maybe not caring, that this is both someone's reality and a victim's long-awaited satisfaction. After seeing someone like Diddy live the high life for decades while others suffered in silence, jail almost feels like a small price to pay. And let's be real, this story...
It's important because this is now a conference of the most important economic bloc in the world. That is no longer the United States and its major allies, usually called the G7. Those used to be the dominant players in the world economy. and above all, of course, the United States, which has been dominant among them since the Second World War. Now, the reality is that since the year 2020, the BRICS are a larger player in the world economy than the United States. If you add up the BRICS, even only just the first five, you add up their GDP, in 2020, it became, added up, bigger than that of the G7. That's a momentous transformation. It means that the center driving dynamic part of the world economy is no longer Europe, North America, and all of that. It's gone now to Asia, and it is on the route to going to Latin America and Africa too. GDP growth, according to the IMF, 2.8 in the United States, nothing in Japan and Germany, and the others are small. Now I want to go to the BRICS. South Africa is like Japan. It's growing, but quite slowly. Brazil has the same growth rate as the United States, 2.8% for 2024. Russia, 3.9%. Now let's look at China. There we go, 4.8%. US is 2.8%. China is growing almost twice as fast at 4.8%. India, which is growing at 7%, almost 3 times the rate of growth of the United States. Folks, there is no contest anymore. It's over. There is a new major player in the world, and they're having a conference right now that should be the single most important issue on our front pages, on our social media, because this is changing everything. Every country, every business is calculating, whoa, where do we shift our investments? Where do we try to source our inputs? Where do we look for markets in a changing world that has now really reached an inflection point, a big shift? American empire is over.